We hear the word empathy thrown around all the time when we talk about what makes a great leader. But what if the actual data tells a totally different, much more complicated story? Today, we're going to dig into a real puzzle found in leadership.
So get this. When more than 2,700 people across 95 countries were asked what makes a great leader, the results were, well, pretty shocking. Empowering people was the clear winner, taking a massive 66%. Trustworthiness came in at a respectable second. And empathy? It was dead last, only 13%. I mean, for all the hype, it seems like most people just don't see it as the number one thing.
And that right there, that's our central mystery for today. How can something that's so widely praised in every business book be ranked so low? Is all the hype just wrong? Or is there something else going on here? Something these numbers aren't telling us at first glance?
To solve this puzzle, we've got to understand a key idea. What we value in a leader totally depends on the lens we're using to see the world. And lucky for us, there's a framework that helps us make sense of these different lenses.
It's called spiral dynamics. Now, don't let the name intimidate you. Just think of it as a map of different value systems or worldviews. You can kind of think of them like different operating systems for the human mind. Each one has its own set of priorities and, you guessed it, defines good leadership in its own unique way.
Okay, so let's use this tool and zoom way in on one specific value system. The framework calls it green. Why? Because it's right here inside this worldview that we find the key that unlocks our entire puzzle.
And here it is, the big clue. The research found a clear, positive statistical link between having strong green values and seeing empathy as absolutely essential. To put it simply, the more someone operates from this green worldview, the more likely they are to say, yep, empathy is a non-negotiable for any great leader.
So what are these green values anyway? Well, this worldview is all about connection. It's about relational harmony, building consensus, and working toward a shared humanistic purpose. It makes sense, right? You can't have real harmony or consensus without deeply understanding where other people are coming from. It's a worldview built on equality and the well-being of the whole group, so you can see why empathy isn't just a nice-to-have. It's the absolute foundation.
This quote from the research just nails it. For this mindset, empathy isn't some fluffy, soft skill. No way. It's the core architecture. It's the literal foundation you build trust on, you build psychological safety on, you build a real sense of belonging on. Without it, the whole thing just crumbles.
And this brings us to a really critical distinction. For the green worldview, the pain is fake, performative empathy. When a leader pretends to listen just to check a box or to calm people down. It feels manipulative. The gain, the real goal, is authentic attunement. That's when a leader uses empathy to genuinely connect, creating an environment where decisions aren't just handed down from on high, they're co-owned by the team.
Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but does it actually work in the messy, real world? Absolutely. Let's look at a few examples of how this empathetic approach leads to some seriously powerful results.
Let's start with former New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern. Her simple mantra during the pandemic was be kind. Now, that wasn't just a nice saying, it was a core strategy. By framing public health as an act of collective care, she created this incredible sense of shared responsibility that led to over 90% compliance with lockdowns. See, empathy wasn't weakness, it was the infrastructure for getting things done together.
Or how about Microsoft? When Satya Nadella took over as CEO, he said, empathy makes you a better innovator. He totally transformed the company culture from one of cutthroat internal competition to one that prizes collaboration and psychological safety. And the result? A mind-blowing $2 trillion surge in market value. Empathy literally became an engine for growth.
And of course, there's Richard Branson's famous philosophy at Virgin. He says that if you take care of your employees, they'll take care of your customers. By putting his team's well-being first, he built an absolute empire founded on loyalty, with staff turnover rates that are consistently way below the industry average.
Okay, so if this green, empathetic style of leadership is so incredibly powerful, why on earth did it rank dead last in our original poll? Well, because green is only one value system out of many. To really get the full picture, we have to zoom back out and look at the rest of the spectrum.
And here is the solution to our whole puzzle. This table shows the data for other major value systems. Look at the numbers for blue and orange. They're negative. For the blue worldview, which really cares about stability, order, and tradition, a leader's job is to uphold the structure. Empathy might be nice, but it's not as important as following the rules that keep everything secure. And for the orange worldview, which is all about results, achievement, and winning, while empathy might even be seen as a distraction from hitting the target. And that is why the overall poll is skewed so far away from empathy.
Now, this isn't to say empathy is some magic bullet. To be really effective, it has to be balanced. Unchecked empathy can lead to avoiding tough but necessary conflicts. It can cause total decision paralysis when you're trying to get everyone to agree on everything. It can even lead to burnout. So the key point is, it's not enough on its own. It has to be integrated with accountability and clear strategic thinking.
So, here we are. We've gone from a really confusing statistic to a much clearer perspective. The real question isn't whether empathy is good or bad, it's about understanding which value system, which lens, is operating in any given situation.
And honestly, this is the real takeaway. Truly effective leadership isn't about picking one correct style and sticking to it. It's about developing the awareness to see which worldview your people are operating from. Real effectiveness comes from understanding and adapting to those diverse values.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to chew on. When you imagine a great leader, what do you see? Is it someone who directs action and achieves results, no matter the cost? Or is it someone who creates the psychological safety for their team to bring their whole selves to work and truly thrive? Your answer probably tells you a lot about the lens you're looking through.